What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Spread the Positive podcast. I am your host, Trent Denson, founder of Spread the Positive and STP Productions, where our mission is to bring light to what's going right and to showcase and facilitate efforts that are making a positive impact in our local communities and beyond. Be sure to check us out, spreadthepositive.net. And also, if you're looking to get involved with the STP Podcast Network, please reach out and just check out all the amazing shows that are on the network. We continue to grow. We continue to build. Be part of the solution. Be part of what's going right. Welcome to the show. This episode of the Spread the Positive podcast is brought to you by the 1200 Club supporters. Huge shout out to our good friends, Mary Fugit with Gateway Title. For all of your real estate closing needs, be sure to hit up Mary over at Gateway Title. The team at Gateway is second to none, and we highly recommend them for all of your real estate transactions, refinancing needs, and anything of the sort. Please check them out. Huge thank you to Mary. As always, we love you. Casey Broach with KK Fitness Training. Casey is a personal trainer on the Faster Way app. She has actually gone through the Faster Way herself. This app has a crazy proven track record of helping people get to their fitness goals quicker with a healthier approach, and it's changing people's lives around the country and around the world. Casey is killing it in this area. She is passionate about helping people. She's done it herself, she believes in it, and she can walk you through this entire process. So be sure to check out at KK Fitness Training on Instagram, and you can reach out to her via email, kkfitnesstraining@gmail.com. Big shout out to you, Casey. Keep killing it. We appreciate your continued support of the 1200 Club here at Spread the Positive. Thank you so much. Last but not least, this episode is brought to you by Pete Adams and Travis Swan over at Adams & Swan. Adams & Swan is your local advertising and digital marketing company that uses a results-driven approach to small and medium business revenue growth. They develop a custom strategy that is specific to your business and create dynamic advertising and digital marketing campaigns that deliver new clients and customers. Check them out at adamsandswan.com. Big shout out to my guys, Pete and Travis. Thank you for the support, guys. Means so much. Can't wait to have you in. Y'all be sure to check them out. adamsandswan.com.
Hey, my name is Brian Nell. I'm a mortgage loan officer with Primis Mortgage. I want to tell you that I absolutely love being a member of the Spread the Positive Network. It's such a great mission and helps bring so much positivity to our community. It's truly be a pleasure to be a part of what they do. There are a lot of ways to navigate financing a home, and in markets like this, having the advice of a trusted local professional is key to making sure you get the right advice for your specific circumstances. Whether you're interested in the purchase of a new home, second home, or have a need for a refinance, I'd love to earn your trust. If I can help you nail your mortgage, call me at 615-243-3976 or visit nailyourmortgage.com.
Primis Mortgage is a subsidiary of Primis Bank, a member FDIC, equal housing opportunity. As always, all loans are subject to approval. Primis Mortgage, NMLS number 1894879.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Spread the Positive podcast. I'm your host, Trent Denson. This is another special NFM STP crossover episode. Got the guy, the man behind the mission, my good friend, my mentor, a lot of things, Mr. Terry Barga. How you doing, man?
Whoa!
Yes! Yeah, man. We've been trying to put this together for a minute, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. This is great. I love this. This spot is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this, you got a good thing going on here.
Yeah, man. We've been evolving, a lot of changes and stuff, but got the new chairs. I feel pretty official with the new chairs.
This chair, I feel like I'm New World Order.
I know it's kind of a
making
little sketchy, but
no, we're making moves.
We're making moves. That's what it is. We're making some moves.
Yeah, these chairs just encompass that.
Yeah,
you know,
it kind of brings a little energy out.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So, Terry, man, we've had a lot of conversations, man. We've talked about a lot of stuff. I always value these conversations, and it's an honor to have you in, man. We've been working, we've been growing together, we've been crying together.
Dude,
literally.
I don't know. No one knows what we do in the background, do they?
No, they
No
really
one
don't.
knows.
But man, it's been so awesome working with NFM and the podcast and you and the team. It's just been a really awesome experience, and just the culture you're building with NFM and the team and a lot of things that you're doing, man. It's really inspiring on my end, because it's kind of been a one-man show a lot of times on this side of things, and it gets lonely,
Very much so, yeah.
It gets tough. So I appreciate how you've built this team, and just how you approach business, life, and everything, man. So without further ado, can you take us back, man? I want to know. I know some stuff here and there, but man, this is like one of the things I love so much about doing the pod is being able to really take it back, understand who you are, where you came from, early passions, all that, man. So take us back to young Terry, up in Dayton, Ohio.
Little Terry,
young Terry, back in the day, man. Take it away.
Well, before I do that, I gotta say I'm honored to be here, and I am stoked that you've been able to, honestly, and I mean this with all sincerity, hang on for the crazy roller coaster ride that it has been with NFM and the podcast. We joke about it, but there's a lot that goes on in the background that both stretches us, but fortifies that friendship and that relationship.
Yeah,
and maintaining that through business is like, we don't always get the luxury of keeping the relationship along with the business. Right. And I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else. Yeah. So
I appreciate that, man.
Super stoked that you behind the ones and twos with us, that you are willing to go and do the hard things.
Yeah, man. It's been fun.
Super appreciate it.
Man.
But
take us back, Terry.
I don't know where you want to go.
Early passions. That's usually where I start.
Early passions. I would say my early / first passion was music.
Right.
I grew up in church. I grew up in Christian school. We lived in rural Ohio. And if you don't know what that means cornfields and soybean fields, like 35 minutes from anywhere that you wanted to go.
Really?
Grew up, no shirt, no shoes, all the time. Like, I was just running through the yard. I was a very hyperactive kid, and it's probably why we ended up out in the middle of nowhere, just to keep me safe.
That's funny.
Raised with 3 sisters. My mom and dad both really installed some crazy work ethic in me. So that translates to when we were pretty broke. And my mom had traded cleaning services for private school.
Wow.
So then that private school was at our church. So, and I say school loosely because there were 4 students in my class.
Oh, wow.
But the point I'm making is we were there 6 to 7 days a week.
Wow.
So setting up chairs, I was in charge of the sanctuary.
Oh,
so which is a basketball court.
Oh, sick. That's my kind of church.
So I would go up there and I would put on some music, something I was listening to back in the day. Yep. And I would set up 300 chairs after sweeping the floor. And then my gift after I did that, clean the bathrooms on that whole first floor, is I would go up and I would play drums.
Oh, sick.
And I would play, and they were electronic. So I wouldn't turn them on, but I would go up there and play the muted drums to the music.
Oh,
and that's how I learned how to play drums.
Wow, that's cool.
I found myself filling in for the worship band, and then fast forward, met some guys that were in a band, and we all sucked, but we got better together.
That's it. Continuous improvement.
And there was there's probably 35 of us guys.
Wow.
And that group just kept growing, and it was all, there were 5 guys in this band over here. There are 4 guys in that band over here. There's 3 in our band.
Oh, nice.
We were friends with the guys in the metal band, and there's always 7 guys in a metal band. So way too many dudes.
Right.
But we would play shows all across Ohio, Indiana,
nice,
Kentucky together, and it sounds glamorous, but sometimes we were playing those shows for each other.
Sure.
A few of the bands got record deals. Most of us didn't.
Yeah.
We all went I went into music management for a while. Did some show promotion for a while.
In Ohio?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that's so I moved down here with my buddy Nate His brother Tim was the lead singer of my band. Oops. And we thought we'd come down here and play a couple shows, but we were in artist management at that point.
Okay.
So we did that on the side. It was their full-time gig, but it was my side gig.
Okay.
And then I was, I was a trainer.
Oh, okay.
By day.
You were training.
I was training at that point.
Okay.
This is 17 years ago.
Right.
So those were the two primary passions, right? It's the music that taught me a lot about, passion, about what you're willing to work for. Why did you want, for me, it was like, why did I want, do I want to be a star? Is that what I'm doing this for?
Right. What was that like?
I just knew I wanted to make a living playing music.
Okay.
And nothing made me feel like there was a feeling associated with just, beating the crap out of some drums.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Now, looking back on it, knowing that the road is not a gentle place.
Sure.
Watching living on the road and sleeping in vans.
Yeah.
Ruin relationships between long-term friends.
Yeah, that's tough.
I'm kind of glad that it didn't. We didn't end up touring the country. Like,
sure.
We were regional at best.
Yeah. That's still cool.
Yeah, it was. And I still loved. I still love to play. It's a good stress reliever for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, just knowing that I didn't didn't necessarily want to hit the road.
Right.
Didn't really want to live that life. But my wife, like when we met, I was still playing shows.
Nice.
When I was married, we were still playing shows. Like we thought that's what we were going to do.
Wow.
And that was kind of one of the things that I had in common with her is that like her dad, like she grew up and her dad was on the road for work.
Okay.
So he was there on the weekends, sometimes only one weekend a month. So she was already used to what that would look like. So yeah, I got the right girl for the road.
There you go.
That was my thought process. Even though that all kind of, came to a screeching halt when you realize, well, now you've got a wife and a mortgage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably get a job.
Yeah.
So, it was from there there was a few jobs, but I ended up where I really excelled was in like a handyman business where lawn and landscaping on one side, like everything green is what we used to say. Okay. And then they did electrical and some home improvements on the other side.
Nice.
So I came in as a weed eater jockey.
Okay.
Or weed eater tech.
There you go. Get it right.
They needed a guy to run a dang weed eater. And I did. And I was so happy to be outside.
Yeah.
That I just went to work and didn't care. Like
that's some good money too.
I just killed it.
Yeah.
And I eventually worked my way up into that company, and it was a small enough company to where I got to know the owners really well, husband and wife.
Nice.
And I started really picking up how to run a company, how to manage people, how to bid jobs. I got into bidding work for him. Then I ended up as a manager, and I was running a crew.
Nice.
At one point, we did like $1.2 million in lawn mowing.
Wow.
Like
that's insane.
I hang my hat on that.
Yeah.
$1 million worth of grass. That's insane.
Yeah, really. That kind of grass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Not that.
That's
a lot
easy.
more if it was other grass. Just doubled that easily. So that was kind of business school for me.
Yeah.
I spent a little time in community college, but nothing worth noting. I don't think anybody spends any time in community college worth noting.
That's fair.
So yeah, that was kind of like sprung me into personal training. I thought if I can do what my boss is doing right now with multiple streams of income, with a handyman business that does snow removal, that wires houses, that does lawn and landscape, I can position a fitness business to be similar.
Okay.
That's what I want to do because I always loved working out.
Okay. That was early.
Very early. The crazy part is that my uncle's what kind of spawned that inside of me.
Okay.
And dude's a mechanic. Like he's not into fitness.
Right.
He just, when I was like 7 or 8 years old, I just remember him being freaking jacked.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to look like that.
There you go.
And it was primarily associated with his personality. He was a jokester and we would pick on him and we would take off running and he would flat out haul and grab us and throw us around. And I was like, yeah, like we were awesome. Just amped. Right.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I just want to be like my uncle.
That's awesome.
In that sense. And I pushed really hard. Shout out to Uncle Lonnie.
That's what's up.
he owns one of the largest towing and recovery businesses in Ohio. It's huge.
Holy smokes.
And I brought this up to him about a year ago. And it's like, you know that you were my primary influence for wanting to be a trainer?
Wow.
And he was just mind blown. He's like,
really?
Why? Because now he's got the dad bod and he's all gray.
Sure. Running the tow and
he's running the tow business. And I was like,
crazy.
Yeah, when I remembered him and when I went back to that story, he was 22, 21 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
But that was they just put something in me at a really young age, and I always wanted to be fit, and I could never really figure it out. So my thought was, I'm going to get certified, and I'm going to use that to be my jumping off point to get out of lawn and landscape, and I'm going to replicate this business model in the fitness industry.
There you go.
And that was the beginning of that new kind of direction.
Was that all here in Nashville?
That started in Ohio.
Okay.
Failed miserably.
Okay.
Housing market crash 2008, 2009, moved to Nashville in 2009,
Gotcha.
Started the business back up, side gig, managing bands, promoting shows.
Got you.
And that was the
origin.
Wife was watching kids, babysitting.
Okay.
And we were always doing too much.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, aren't we all?
Yeah, right.
Man, that's awesome. So you're talking like the multiple streams in the fitness world.
Mm-hmm.
What did that look like?
Well, initially it looked like I thought I could sit in a managerial role and hire a trainer or trainers to facilitate training while I did nutrition coaching. So that's what I thought it would look like.
Yeah. And
it maybe ultimately transitioned into something more like that when I moved to Nashville, but I couldn't support it in Dayton.
Okay.
Because that market crash took out General Motors, where they had to borrow from the government.
Yeah.
General Motors was like 70% of manufacturing was in Dayton.
Wow.
So the clientele dried up real quick.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So coming to Nashville was kind of a move on, well, we need to be in a more densely populated area anyway.
Yeah.
And this isn't that far from home.
Right.
And that idea started to work, but I had to build it from the ground up as opposed to thinking I could work on it from the top down. So I just flipped it.
Yeah. Okay.
So as opposed to being the guy sitting in the chair doing the thing, having the consultations, it's like, well, I need to get as fully immersed in fitness culture and as much training experience as I can get, and then go from there.
Got you. And that's what you did?
That's what I did.
So training.
Food stamps, unemployment, side gigs, training, Groupon saved my business.
Okay. Oh yeah, you tell that story.
Shout out to Groupon,
man.
And I don't know if anybody remembers the infant stages of Groupon when it was only in Chicago.
I didn't know that.
And it was only email.
Oh,
didn't have an app. There really wasn't social media advertising back then.
Yeah.
Like we're talking very, very early Facebook, very late MySpace.
Right.
Nothing else.
Right.
And Groupon is a tech startup, and their goal is to get you to buy their coupons for 50% of what they would be. And I had done nothing to warrant their phone call other than I started training a girl who did web design.
Oh.
And instead of her paying me, she built me a website and managed it.
There you go.
And she was an SEO genie.
Nice. Early on
adopter. Huge. So she's like, then my best friend, the lead singer of the old band, was like, you need to just start a blog and write.
Okay.
So we had the website URL, NashvillePersonalTrainer.net.
Oh, snap.
It was directly tied to my blog spot, and I would put up a blog every day, literally every day.
Every day?
Every day. What else was I going to do?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay.
Back in the day, I was just like, just type. And I would do it, and I would post it, and I would do it either after training a couple clients or before. And I would just watch my email box.
Yeah.
Just hope.
Dang, that's crazy.
What I didn't know I was doing was building this crazy, SEO traffic.
Yeah.
Which eventually led to a phone call from Groupon. They just Googled Nashville Personal Trainer, and I popped up.
Wow.
And that's what needed to happen. And they approached me like, hey, we want to break out into Nashville. We want to do a deal with with a personal trainer.
Yeah.
It's 3 sessions. We want you to mark it off. We want you to mark it down. 50% off. And then what we'll do is we'll list it 50% off. We'll take 50% of that 50% and you'll get the rest.
Okay.
So I was like, I don't get nothing to lose.
Right.
I mean, didn't have high expectations.
Yeah.
We sold 175 of those deals.
Wow.
So take 175 and multiply it by 3. That's how many sessions I had to fulfill.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. And it blew the doors off of my business.
That's insane.
And that's what started the snowball that ended up helping me hire a trainer, ended up helping me get my own space. I went from 1 trainer to 14 trainers.
What?
In about 24
See,
months.
I don't know these things.
Yeah.
I've heard Cliff Notes.
Yeah, it
and
blew
little
the doors
sprinkles
out
of
it.
these stories,
Yeah.
man. But that's incredible.
It was crazy.
Incredible.
And then they eventually came back and wanted to do it again. It didn't have as much success the second time, but it's because the market now they had done several.
Yeah.
I think we sold half of the amount, and then they eventually got out of the personal training and only were doing classes. But that built my list. I had some early adopters that saw the Groupon go up, and it's up for 5 days for you to buy it.
Yeah.
I had people calling me on the side, like, we know you're about to get really, really busy. We want to sign up now, whatever your price is,
There you go.
before anybody else gets
There
it.
you go.
So I was literally working sun up to sundown.
Jeez.
Yeah, 14 to 16 hours a day, about 6 days a week.
How many people per day?
I was packing them in. It was,
Dude, that's crazy.
outside of breaks, I was probably doing 10 to 12 people a day.
That's insane.
And some of them didn't make it through a full session.
Right.
I was still pretty new.
Sure.
So sometimes I didn't know how to pump the brakes when someone was even,
Yeah.
someone needed a break.
Right.
But yeah, that was the beginning. And then shortly after that deal went live, on my drive home, I was like driving and praying and just like, man, Lord, I need some intervention here because the deal hadn't hit yet. I need some help. When I swung by a community center on my way home, I was like, I'm just going to see if they will allow training, if they have any openings for boot camp instructors or class instructors. Walk in there, meet Steven Nellums, which Jarrell knows Steven. He got his start at the same community center.
Wow.
Dion knows Steven.
Wow.
That's how Dion and I met.
Wow.
That's the beginning of Dion and I's relationship.
That's amazing. Just one stop.
Yeah, and Steven was like, hey, yeah, come on in. I got in right before the hiring freeze.
Okay.
Because remember, we're still in that
Yeah, it was still
recession period
Right.
after that housing.
So this is
drop.
2009.
It's 2009, 2010.
Okay. Yeah.
And I did full-time boot camp instructing in there as well.
Wow.
And I had about 4 classes a day there. But then I got so busy, that's what made me hire a trainer.
Okay.
So we would split those boot camp classes and I would able to give her some training clients, and that's how we built the business.
Wow.
And it was just literally white knuckling the growth
Wow.
for 2 years. And yeah, so I'd come in and I would drop little nuggets on Dion about business and what we're doing. And I didn't know that it was going anywhere. And he reflects back on that now, like, dude, I learned so much.
Dude, that's
Those little
crazy,
nuggets.
man. That's so sick.
But yeah, Steven was the thread that held all of us trainers together. There was a couple other trainers in that circle too. Yeah, but without Steven, I wouldn't know Dion, Jarrell, like those guys. I don't know that those guys would have gotten their start the same way. We all kind of came out of that same little incubator.
That's so cool, man. Shouts to Steven.
Yeah.
What's he doing now?
Well, he's now the assistant director of Metro Parks. So,
Okay. Wow.
yeah. And I would love to get an interview with him, but it's like trying to nail water to the wall. He's so freaking busy.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Man, that's crazy. So 2010, you're busting at the seams, killing it. Everything's going well. What else? Where did that go?
That led us, I mean, that growth was a lot.
Yeah.
And I reflect on this, and I have reflected on this. Like, I was 27, 28 years old at this point. I had 2 kids. When one was pretty new. When we moved and we expanded into the building there at Edge Hill Village, we went from 700 square feet of shared space with another trainer to 1,400 square feet. We tripled our rent cost, which at the time felt so stupid.
Yeah.
But it worked.
Yeah.
And And it was shortly thereafter that we adopted our 2 kids.
Wow.
So this all like that building, the trainers, I brought on my buddy Tim. He was actually now the nutrition consultant.
Okay.
I brought on a couple of other trainers. My wife is now full time. And we decided, now's the time to adopt 2 kids.
Right. Nothing to it.
Nothing to it. So everything doubled and tripled.
Wow.
Literally the family, the building, the training staff. And there's a time where I thought, this is it.
Yeah.
Like I've got the team that are super loyal, right? I've got the income's coming in. We're growing. People are becoming aware of us. This is the best possible
What was it called
location.
at
That time it was called Life Fitness Academy.
Okay. Right. Okay.
We transitioned out of Nashville personaltrainer.net because we got bigger.
Yeah.
So our goal was to educate. We did cooking classes. We did nutrition consultations.
Cool.
All kinds of stuff like that. We were still writing a ton of blogs, debunking myths and talking about supplements that we thought were trash.
Yeah.
Which is at the time kind of catching us a little bit of flack because we were being a little combative.
It's necessary sometimes.
Yeah, especially in that genre.
Yeah.
But that was I remember looking back and thinking, this is it. I have achieved all that I could ever dream of.
Wow.
Right here and right now. And you just think that you're locked in.
Yeah.
And at that age, I think it comes a lot of that comes with that mentality from being in your late 20s. And I don't know that it was entitlement or what that exact thought was in my brain at that moment, but I just thought that I've arrived. This is it.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that it would ever go away. And then Nashville started to grow. And when it started to grow, well, guess what? That whole complex that I was in got bought.
Oh, snap.
And nobody wanted to keep the local businesses in that building. So all of the local businesses, all their leases were now, like they were buying out some leases.
Yeah.
My lease was up right about at the same time they bought. So I had 30 days to vacate.
Wow.
And that is what was the reality check.
Okay.
At that point it was, well, no, this all could fade away just like that.
Right.
And that's when I realized, I've wrapped up my identity in this. Way too much. Like business success or failure is now Terry's success or Terry's failure. And I had to have those hard conversations. And my buddy Tim was very helpful in that. Like we had moved to another building and that building was astronomically priced. I had lost my corporate contracts. I had 4 of them at that time. I lost them all at once because they had a grant.
Oh, snap.
So I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for this building?
Yeah.
I confidently, or maybe cocky, went to the realtor when we got the building and I told him, I was like, dude, I'll sign a 3-year lease. I got this. That building was $6,000 a month. I know there are people paying way more than that right now out there.
Oh yeah.
I know those guys.
But at the time,
for me,
crazy.
that was, that was
dang, $6,000.
4 times more than what I was paying.
Sure.
And my wife and I went out on a trip and we came back, something that we had prepaid for in the other building, went to Israel.
Oh, nice.
And was gone for 10 days. And my best friend, Tim, ran the business for me. And when I got back, he's like, okay, I want to tell you this, but I don't want you to freak out. Your success is not wrapped up in whether this business or building succeeds or fails. Do you understand that? And I was like, well, yeah. He's like, you need to vacate this place. You're going to run out of money. Like, get out of here as quick as you can.
Yeah.
And that hit me so hard. It was like the loss of a child.
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't walk out of here.
Right.
Like, I've spent so much blood, sweat, and tears trying to get this building ready. Ultimately, I listened. We ended up downsizing and moving to another location so we can, stabilize. And I remember having to go to that realtor and say, like, my tail between my legs.
Yeah.
And say, hey, man, I bit off more than I could chew. I don't know what you're willing to do here, but I have to get out of here. And then he was the most ridiculously nice guy in the world. I don't know if dudes like this exist anymore.
Yeah.
But he was like, that's totally fine. Do your best to get everything, back to what it was before you got here. I will stop charging you rent. What you owe me, I'll wipe clean.
What?
I'll give you 3 months to get out.
Wow.
And I was like,
okay.
okay.
Yeah. Done.
And then we did all that stuff. We got out, we found a building.
Dude,
We were
that's
able
crazy.
to rebuild
Man,
everything.
Shout out to that guy.
Yeah, his name's Cooper Magley, by the way. I'm pretty sure
Cooper.
he's still a realtor in Williamson County.
Okay.
Salt of the earth. What a
Dude,
dude. He
that's
left me
amazing.
a card at the end of all this, like the guy who couldn't pay him,
Yeah.
that said, "Don't stop doing what you're doing. This nation was built on the backs of people like you."
Dang, dude.
And I
That's,
shed a tear. I was like,
I would.
I still have that card.
Dude, I would too. That's amazing.
And that's what kind of gave me the
Dang.
I guess the ability, the reassurance to keep pushing.
Yeah.
So, and we downsized and we were fine, but that was a wild ride.
Yeah. So that was 2010, 11?
And I think it was a little longer. It was like 2015.
Oh, okay.
Like we were in Edge Hill Village for almost 5 years.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So we'd grown pretty good.
Yeah,
And then
that's
we
when-
spent a year at that other building.
Got you.
And I want to say I probably lost nearly $100,000 in that building. Yeah.
Wow.
It was insane.
Yeah.
It took me a while to even drive by that building.
I can imagine.
It's like that building offended me personally.
Yeah, it's like haunting. It's haunting you. Jeez, man.
It was just a crazy, crazy thing.
Dude, that's wild. Wow. That's crazy. So you kind of stabilized. You're doing well. Things are better. Everything's kind of
Yeah, that was
chugging along.
That was the enter Ryan Freebing Nashville Fit Magazine.
Shouts to
era.
Ryan Freebing.
Yeah,
Talk
like-
about salt of the earth. Man.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
dude
I love him.
comes to my gym and is like, "Hey man, just trying to check out what you're all doing. Here's what I'm trying to do." And this is when the magazine, Nashville Fit Magazine, was just a website.
Okay.
He just moved here from Austin. He had a plan and he had a vision. And I do like I do with everybody. I'm like, count me in.
Yep.
Like I'm here. I'll co-sign
Son
on
of a
that.
gun, I'm in. Yeah.
I remember feeling like after I met him and got an idea of what he was going to do, and he would come back to the gym and take classes every once in a while. And I was like, I need to be doing that. Like we hunker down in our box and we find safety in our four walls. And Ryan was doing something then that I just felt like kind of like convicted about, in the sense of I need to be in the community. I need to be building relationships, forging relationships,
Yeah.
working towards the greater good, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And I want to be more of a part of what he's doing. And I kept just trying to interject myself. Never really having an agenda. I just wanted to,
Sure.
we just wanted to be a part of what he was doing.
That's awesome.
So, we kind of kept always working together on things. We'd volunteer for a lot of his stuff. I lent him my designer at one point. We designed the hats for the
Nice.
first Fit Games.
Nice. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was through him that I think I met Roy from
Yeah.
Barbell Voodoo. Like the relationships just started building.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the beginning of me having an interest in the magazine.
Yeah.
And we just kept working, and then COVID happens, right? Like I think we made one more business move. Like we absorbed another gym. So we bought out another gym and we moved to a different location, and we turned into Nashville Strength Company at that point. And we kind of we're still pretty hyper focused at that point. I was doing a lot of like rehab and restorative fitness,
Okay.
a lot of business mentorship, a lot of trainer mentorship.
Yeah.
That's where I met Sav.
Okay.
Ran into each other at I think it was like the third Expo, Music City Fit Expo. She's like, "Ryan told me about you.
Nice.
I need to come like do a session." And that's when her and I started doing some coaching mentoring.
Okay.
So I would show her some things that I knew about fixing injuries and how to, release muscles and things like that. And that worked for a little while. Out on the side, I'm over here running my own construction business. And this actually came out of all of our clients that moved with us over the years, seeing how we built out gyms.
Oh, wow.
Because we do it all ourselves.
That's
Because
awesome.
I grew up learning this stuff, right?
Yeah.
The trades. And they would ask
that's
me
sick.
they would just ask me to do odd jobs.
Yeah.
Like we'd move a wall.
Yeah.
We would put up lights. The biggest job we got, which is when I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm calling my dad.
Yeah. Call my dad.
It was, we built a carport for a guy in 12 South. It was nearly a $20,000. It was a garage.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of an three-sided open air garage. I'm like, it took us forever to finish it because I'm kind of full-time job.
Yeah.
And that's when I called my dad and I was like, "Hey, you want to run this business?" And he was reluctant about it. It took him a couple months to decide. But when he finally came down, I gave that to him, and I would kind of run it remotely.
That's sick.
To the point where
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, to the point where it got big enough to where I had one of my clients being like, I want to invest in what you're doing. I was like, well, which thing? He goes, not the gym. I was like, really? He goes, I want the construction business. I was like, okay. He's like, you think your dad would sell me his share? I was like, I could ask him. Because the whole point, I told him, I was like, give me 5 years. I'm going to build this up enough to sell it. I'll help you retire.
Nice.
He was driving a truck, right? He was a truck driver. Didn't really have a financial backup plan. And like I said, he finally agreed to it. And then this client wants to get in.
Yeah.
I was like, this might be it. Like,
yeah.
We're 2.5 years in.
Right.
My dad agreed to it. My dad got a fat stack of cash.
Nice.
And he was pretty happy.
Yeah.
And him and my mom were like, we're going to go back to Ohio. So bye.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So they moved back, and I'm over here running this construction business I have no idea why.
Yeah.
I actually ended up going into it full time because he had left, and I was training clients in the morning, running this construction business in the rest of the day. And that's
crazy.
how I got through COVID.
Unbelievable.
Because at that point, the gym got transferred over to my head trainer, and I just backed all the way out of the gym. I was like, I got to run this thing. I want to see it through. I need to get it to a point where I can sell it, and then I'll figure things out. So it took me about another year and a half, but that was the COVID year. So, if you remember, COVID was great for home improvements.
Oh yeah.
So I was able to hire a new general contractor, and then he hired his buddy. We bought new vans.
Nice.
We got through COVID, and I was like, all right, I'm outie.
Yeah.
You guys either want this to buy it from me, or I'm going to sell it to somebody else. And they met about it, and then eventually bought it from me.
Wow.
And I got back into business consulting and fitness. That was right about the time where I was like, where did Ryan go?
Right.
And I hit up Ryan, learned about the magazine, hunted down the magazine, started the Expo with Roy. The rest of that's kind of like, history. Now we're up to about 4 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
So and I joked this, I tell Roy this all the time, everything that I had learned from the Groupon days to the days of sweating it out with a weed eater in my hand to nearly losing, I guess losing $100,000, trainers hiring and firing and all the drama that came with all of that. Everything that I learned was for this time.
Yeah.
And it was the School of Hard Knocks, the University of Hard Knocks.
100%.
It was a decade in the making.
Wow.
So that when I brought all of that stuff to the magazine, I knew I wanted culture to be the primary thing.
Yep.
I knew that I was going to have to find some passionate individuals because the money's not always there in the beginning.
Right.
And the goal is that how long can I keep them? That passion it always needs to turn into a paycheck.
Right.
And I'm the most aware of that. And how much time do I have before that wears out? Right.
Yep.
And because the culture is important, and you can't have the culture if you don't have the passion.
Man.
So
amen to that.
You got 3 months typically before that passion, before they're like, no, I'm just passionate about this. Before they're like, but I'd also like to get paid.
Right. Yep.
So a lot of out of my own pocket stuff to get it going. And that's normal. That's what you have to do. And then you have to be absolutely patient.
Yeah.
Because all of that it's seed money.
Right.
Like it's going to go somewhere and you're not going to be able to see it or touch it. But when it grows and it comes back, it'll provide shade, food,
there you go,
sustenance for you.
You
have to wait. You have to water it. You have to take care of it. And you really have to invest in those relationships.
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate to sit here and say that we've taken the magazine from a print magazine publication that was dead. We bought it. We bought a logo. We bought a Instagram page and a website and a Facebook page that I still haven't been able to tie back to the Instagram page. No list, no client list.
Really?
Nothing of any actual value outside of that.
Wow.
And it's like I wanted to turn it into a marketing company, and that's what Roy and I have done. And
that's amazing.
Super, super thankful for Roy in that. He is the unsung hero of co-signing on Crazy. When I called him, like, you want to do this thing? We barely knew each other.
Yeah.
Barely
tell
knew each
story,
other.
Man. Tell that story.
This is like deep in my faith. And if anybody who's consumed any of this content, whether it's this podcast right now or any of the podcasts I've been on, my faith is very important.
Yep.
I was raised in church. I was raised a believer. I do believe the Bible. And more than that, I put it to the test. And I've seen some really crazy things happen. And I know the Lord cares. He cares about the little things.
Amen.
He cares about the big things.
Yep.
And I don't care who knows it. One of the things that I remember thinking, there's two relationships here, and you can go back and listen to the podcast with me and Whitney Weiser talking about this, where I prayed for the right people. Like, I wanted to be surrounded with people smarter than me, and those relationships are really important. And I prayed for the right people. And when I met Roy, and I was like, I want to partner with that guy. Mind you, I didn't have the Expo. I didn't have the magazine. I was running a gym, and I had a small clothing line that ultimately failed. And my clothing line was my in for him.
Right.
So I was like a heat-seeking missile going after him. So I was like bugging him. I was like, hey, Roy, want to get coffee? Hey, you want to talk about business? Hey, Roy, you should buy my company. Hey, Roy, let's partner up. And he would just be like, stop talking. And at one point we did an interview where I thought I was going to launch a coaching business right after the construction business or nearing the end of it. I actually wrote a book during this time.
Wow.
And I wanted to do some interviews, and I interviewed him. And that's when I really got to know the business side of him. And that's when I think he really understood that I want to learn from you. And maybe he'll say that differently. I don't know. You should get over here. But the long story short there is the Lord answered that prayer.
Yeah.
And he answered it with the Expo.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not doing this alone.
Right.
Like you said, it is a lonely place as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
And then two.
Huge shout out to the newest member of the STP 1200 Club, Mr. Sean Moran with Red Barn Financial. Are you seeking a financial advisor who shares your values? Sean Moran at Red Barn Financial offers faith-based financial guidance. We'll help you make sound financial decisions that align with your Christian beliefs. Call Sean today at 615-619-6919 for more information. Big thank you to you, Sean, for supporting the 1200 Club. Be sure to reach out to Sean. He is amazing at what he does and an amazing resource for all things financial advising. Thanks again, Sean.
Absolutely. And then two, if I'm going to do it with somebody, that somebody needs to be my complementary opposite. So I'm not going to go shopping for another version of me.
Right.
Because
huge.
We'll work in circles. So I need somebody who's going to challenge me.
Yep.
And Roy is that guy. Like,
nice.
He's abrasive in the right ways.
Yep.
He says it how it is.
That's huge.
There is no sugar. Like, it's not like he's sugarcoating truth. You know, a lot of guys will take a second to get to the point. Roy's right to the point.
Yeah.
And I needed that.
100%.
And I still do that.
Yeah.
And I needed someone to kind of firm me up with business decisions to keep myself and my family out of harm's way. And that's, he's still that to me on that level. But similarly, I met Whitney that way. So I went to one of Whitney's shows, the NPC show, as KBA, the clothing line. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to her tell her story about how she nearly died from someone running over her. Have you heard this story?
Yeah, it's crazy.
God, it's crazy. I'm like, I want to work with that girl.
Yep.
Like, Lord, make it happen. Like, I want to work with her. And the only thing I knew at that point, like, how do I get close to somebody who's doing that type of stuff, who's leading in that area, is I'm going to show up for them in a way. It's either volunteering or it's, if it can be in a way to serve them somehow, I'm going to show up and I'm going to show out. I'm going to work my butt off. So I did. I went and volunteered to help her run her shows. And I worked like a borrowed mule to prove myself.
That's awesome.
So that she could see that work ethic. And that full circle, it was me telling her, I told her this a couple episodes ago. And I'm just like, cut this out. But yeah, that's another one of, to me, those are the undertones of where the gospel meets business. It's discipleship. Yes, it's mentorship. Yes, it's a lot of freaking faith.
Yeah.
But what I want to reflect on, to share, is that you get to this space where you think that this is it.
Yeah.
whether that is how you feel across the board with the pain you're going through, or that's how you feel with the loneliness you're going through, or the success.
Yep.
Like, I'm at this level of success, nothing can stop me. Like, that is so not true.
Yeah.
You are not a finished work. You'll
Ever.
never be a finished work.
Ever.
You are always in progress. That kind of keeps you looking on the inside. Like, let's trust God, clean your own house before you clean someone else's. That'll kind of keep you in that introspective space.
Yep.
And every once in a while it'll creep out where you think that you've arrived in a certain section, and you end up, you could end up really smashing a relationship that you got to go back and clean up.
Yep.
Or what happens to me a lot of the times is just moving too freaking fast.
Yep.
I see it, and because I can see it, it means it's right there when it's not.
Way over there.
It's way out there.
Way over
Reverse engineer it
Yeah.
and then make those steps happen, right? And that's how we coach, right? Like, it's great to dream it. If you don't have a vision, you probably aren't going to go far.
Right.
Vision cast it wide, cast it deep, and now let's reverse engineer it and see if we can make measurable steps one day at a time to get somewhere close to that vision. Oftentimes you will be heading towards a vision you think is where you want to go, and then you'll see where you're actually going, and it's way better somehow.
Right.
And that's fun. That's really cool.
That's all. Yes, it is. It doesn't happen that often, does it?
I don't know that we allow ourselves to trust and walk that far before we get scared, we get nervous, we want to back out.
Yeah, that's accurate too.
I'm here. Like, that's me.
Yeah,
it's
same.
like I can hear right now. What I hear in the back of my head is patience.
Yeah.
Wait, patience.
Wait.
And you know how hard that is for me?
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah. Not a very patient guy.
No.
Or me, I'm talking to myself. Yeah.
Like I think that's the entrepreneurial, I guess, gift and curse.
Gift
on one
and
side.
curse,
Yeah,
for
like,
sure.
You see it, you think you know what it is, and you want it right now.
Yeah.
But the reality is that journey is going to teach you something about what it means to be successful.
Yeah.
And you have to feel that pain.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, man. I've had a few, or just the patience thing that really hits home, because, man, I wanted it right then so many times, and then like I didn't. There's just certain things that have happened along the way. Like if I didn't, or just finding this new hosting thing. Like it was such a game changer.
Yeah.
Like being able to put multiple shows in one location, and it's turned into a distribution network. And it would, if I didn't have that one thing, right? Like it would have, who knows where we would be just without that one step. And then being able to, just take a step back and, being able to put the kit together, like way back when we were just started, like I was still using a MacBook and a USB mic to do a podcast, that was, and then having, my buddy Karsten put the first, mobile kit together. And I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Like we can pop up anywhere and do a podcast. And then, fast forward another couple of years, it's like, oh, I need a different hosting thing. People are asking me to help them start shows. Boom, it's right there. And it's like, I just looked the other day, there's 63.
That's incredible.
63 that have, some of them need to be taken off. Some of them are inactive. Some of them are just starting, but over 60 shows.
Yeah. But so did you sit back at the very beginning and be like, this is like 60 shows was your goal? It was just like quality. I just wanted to start.
Yeah.
Like, what was your vision?
That was definitely it. Or I didn't know. Like, and looking back, I've always, like, one of the most initial ideas for STP way back when, like 10, 11 years ago, was it really was like a media outlet of some type. And, we did events, we did, some social media stuff. And before the podcast, there was nothing like real consistent that I could do. But then the podcast really, I made the commitment. I heard a podcast where Drama from Short Story Long.
Oh yeah.
He made the commitment of getting one episode out per week for a whole year just to see what it turned into. I'm like, I'm going to do the same thing. So, always super grateful for Short Story Long. It really did change my life. And then, episode 50 with Kevin Sturdivant, and that one, it's top 3 podcasts to this day.
Really?
I'll send it to you, man.
Yeah, please do.
It's unbelievable. That guy is such a legend, and he just drops. I mean, it was literally just like, if you have anything you're passionate about, start a podcast. If you have anything you're passionate about, start a podcast. And it was, 2018 wasn't as easy to figure this stuff out.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it
Way
was
different now.
Bro, I had to listen. Tim Ferriss has a podcast about how to start a podcast that I listened to like
Bookmark that junk.
20 times. I'm like, what am I missing? Then you go back. It was like everything was through SoundCloud back then.
Yeah.
I was missing one thing that I didn't click to be on all the different things, and just little things like that. But to your point, early on, I just wanted to create a platform that focused on stuff that was working. Like, I feel like there's such a white space, or there's so much room for that.
Oh yeah.
And it's not the sexy stuff. It's not the, if it bleeds, it leads,
right.
It's not the clickbaity, super entertaining in a lot of ways, but like, let's talk about the food drive that went well, or even the cat that got out of the tree. I don't really care. Let's just talk about stuff that's actually working, people coming together, just good stuff that's happening, because there's so much of it that just gets overlooked. And that's something we've
100%.
And that's the same thing with NFM.
Yeah.
That I think that's what always like has been that underlying thing. Like, yeah, we'll figure out whatever we need to figure out, but we need to just stay with this, because it's a very similar vein. What we're like, you're just trying to help people be healthier, bring community together, get people in the same room, and find solutions, right? Be able to be a platform for the fitness community here in town that's doing it the right way. It's not cutthroat. It's not I'm here to take over your business. It's like, I want to elevate your business. I want to elevate all of these businesses, because there's so much room for that. And that's something we've always just really vibed on.
Yeah, that's like, I couldn't do that without you.
Yeah.
And I think there's I think that's where we're going.
Absolutely.
Because everything else is kind of like, you can't trust a news source.
Right.
You have to watch 5 of them to figure out which one's straight.
Yep.
We're all over here kind of trying to figure it out on our own, and we need a positive soundtrack to our lives.
Absolutely.
And it starts with you.
Yeah, man.
I wouldn't be able to do anything that we're doing without you. So yeah, I appreciate all that you've helped us do. And yeah, we are like, that's literally it. The mission statement, right? Who can we highlight who's like the underdog?
Yeah.
Who hasn't been highlighted? And sure, we'll have those big big people on there too.
But
that goes without saying. And then how do we make shine the light on the industry in a way that brings people up? And we're not looking for hot takes. We're not looking for gossip. We don't care about any of that stuff.
Yeah,
So come in here and trash talk certain modalities, whether you believe in them or not. That is why I picked the hosts that I picked.
Yeah.
From as far out to the other sides as I could find.
It's perfect.
And I was like, hey, you two should be on a show together.
It's so good.
That's like what I want to do. Like,
I remember the first time we recorded, I'm like, this is gold.
And I really thought that they knew each other.
Oh, really? They never met.
I had never met.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they joke about it now, and I was like, my bad, because I really thought you guys had crossed paths at some point.
That first session was so legendary. Oh man. Well, I know you got to run here soon, man. So quickly, like, what are you excited about? What's on deck for NFM? All the stuff. Plug away.
What are we excited about? Some days I'm just excited that no one's canceled their marketing subscription.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, like the roller coaster of entrepreneurship.
Cut the check.
Yeah,
please.
The passion.
We need it.
Yeah, the passion is the people, right?
Yeah.
It's top down. I'm passionate about my faith. I'm super passionate about my family.
Yep.
Wanting to provide for them, and not just financially, but I want to. You see me bringing my kids into this.
I
stuff.
know. It's been cool. They're killing it too.
Yeah, and they really have, and I'm proud of them for that. I'm passionate about the team, and I want to keep the team tight knit like a family. And yes, it's like Spread the Positive is extended family.
Yep. Inner circle.
Yeah, inner circle. I'm really passionate about that, and in sharing the stories. Like, I just want to tell really cool stories.
That's huge.
And I didn't know that about myself.
Yeah.
Until now. So until the magazine. So I love all that stuff. Where we're going is, I would love to be a media outlet that people can rely on.
Yeah.
For both the positive as well as actual factual news in the sense of our health and fitness industry.
Yep.
we are looking to expand nationally, and we're going to take those steps very slowly, one by one. We'll have an app coming out before the summer. NFM will.
Nice.
So there'll be some more news on that. I literally just got the invoice. So
nice. These are always fun.
It's
to
getting
get.
real now.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to that type of stuff.
Will there be ads? Is that an advertising opportunity?
It'll not only will be an advertising opportunity, but what we're going to do, because the goal of the app is to, you can get on there and you can work out with and do featured workouts with, well-known trainers. And you'll see advertisements, but more than that, you can take your phone into one of the businesses that support NFM, and you can show it to them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're with NFM, you get this."
Yes,
and that's
huge.
that's the goal. It's a way to shine light on the businesses and help them grow.
Sick.
And
That's
reward.
big time, man.
Let's reward the readers.
Yeah,
right. Let's reward the people that consume the content. So
that's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge. Man, I hate to cut it short, but I know you got to go.
I know.
Yeah.
I always have one foot out the door.
Yeah, I know, man. You stay on the go, man. But I appreciate you coming out. We'll definitely do a part 2 sometime when it works out. But thank you, man. Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah, man, 100%. And I'm just happy to have you on the camera. We're always trying to get him on the camera, this guy.
Yeah, I'm here. Look, I'm right
Look,
here.
you did it.
I really, I do exist. Yeah,
He's in the flesh.
Nah, man. But it's been awesome working with NFM, and all the stuff y'all are doing is super exciting. And we got some advertising packages we're marketing. So be sure to check that out.
Yep.
Like the exposure is real. Like the reach is real. Being on these shows, being on these podcasts, putting your ad reads on these things, people are getting business from it.
Yeah,
we can track that. We know that for sure. So
that's a big thing too. Like, and that
Right.
needs to be talked about.
Yeah,
what we can do together, no one else in this city can do.
Facts.
That's just a fact.
Yeah.
We can get a lot more exposure. We don't have any competition.
Yeah,
we just don't. What we can produce as far as content is top notch.
Yep.
And it's literally everywhere.
Yep.
And it's in every industry.
Yep.
So like, if you're looking to do something with us collaboratively, obviously please reach out. There'll be stuff below this video.
Yeah.
But also, if you want to start a podcast, this is your guy.
Yeah, that's me.
Don't come asking me. Come ask this guy.
If you're in the fitness world,
get set up.
Come through the NFM. Come through the NFM
I don't know, man,
channel.
I'm almost at my max.
Yeah, that's true. We got bandwidth.
I don't know how you do it.
We got room to grow for sure. We got some big plans, man. But we're it's gonna be fun, man. And like the sky's the limit. Golly, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what this looks like a year from now.
Absolutely.
It's gonna get. Just hang on.
Yeah, that's you heard it here first, people. Yeah. Hang on.
Just hang on.
Just hang on to your boots.
We got something for you.
Just y'all stay put right there and hang on. Hang on tight, because it's going to be a fun ride. But man, I appreciate you, Terry. Thank you for everything. NFM podcast, Music City Mindset, Ground Up podcast.
Sir.
All those will be in the show notes. But yeah, this is the STP NFM crossover. We're Allen Iverson right here. We are crossing y'all up right now, breaking some ankles. But we're gonna have Sav on too. Shouts to Sav. You're on deck. Officially calling you out.
That's right. Where you at?
We when it kind of slows down in the new year, we'll get Savvy on here. Pumped to hear her full story, man. I know I know quite a bit, but not the whole thing. So pumped to hear Sav's story and all the stuff. She's so awesome.
We love Sav.
Yeah, man. The whole team. Shouts to everybody on the team. Jen, Christian, I forget Anthony.
Yep.
All the guys. Ezra. Yeah. Young Ezra stepping in.
You better be editing some video right now.
Yeah, for real. For real. Shouts to Cam Maruski here, production assistant extraordinaire. But thank y'all for listening. We will see y'all on the next one. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Spread the Positive podcast. For more information about all the things we got going here at Spread the Positive, please check us out, spreadthepositive.net. Get involved with our underwriting, advertising, sponsorship program, start a podcast, or if you just want to support the mission, reach out on spreadthepositive.net or any of our social media handles at Spread the Positive. Look forward to connecting with y'all and giving y'all another fire episode on the next one. Thank you, and we will see you then. Let's go.